Yo, how's it going, everybody? It is that time once again. We are here for the latest episode of the Slot One Super Podcast.
Oh, I'm so low.
I know. I changed it on the other one, but it's not changed on this one for some reason.
Well, I guess you didn't have to change it at all.
Bro, I was slumped. I clicked over to the podcast tab and I was like, yeah, no,
Now
I
I'm
think
too high.
my box is not even aligned with the top. This is crazy.
Okay, I think it
Technical
looks good.
difficulties.
My box is good now.
I know, right?
I just think blame Ninga. Ninga was like, "Did you move your cameras because the box isn't?"
It's because I was on the other scene, the one that has the card arts on it. I forgot to check this one. So
you're so. And then now when we go to the other one, it's gonna be messed up again.
No, because I've only moved it on this one. Well, as long as you haven't moved your cameras, I fixed it all on my end. So
Too bad.
Well, there you go. So what better way to start as another fresh week of the podcast with more technical difficulties. One day, I'm sure there will be an episode that doesn't have any. But yeah, how are you guys all doing out there? Welcome back. So this is episode 11 of the Slot One Super Podcast, your weekly Dokkan Battle podcast, hosted by myself, the Masked Ningen, Minato's Flash directly to my right on the screen there, and then of course all the way on the far right we have Dokkan Assets, aka Theo. We are here to go through all the weekly goings on in Dokkan Battle, as well as things that will be coming up soon. And yeah, so we will have a few things to talk about on this episode. It hasn't been a crazy week for both versions of the game, but we do have a couple of releases, as well as some interesting things that will be coming up in the next few days, as well as some speculation about things that potentially could be happening. Because I know Dokkan Assets and I will have to try and stay as reserved as possible. We won't spend too much time in the episode talking about heroes, because we don't have any new info yet. So we're still just waiting to see.
We could just make something up. It'll be fine.
We could. No, we'll jump in. We'll start off with stuff that's actually going on in the game. But before we jump into the first topic, obviously, just a quick reminder: if you guys want to help support the podcast, you have any questions, comments, or shout outs, anything like that, all donations and super chats will be read out at the end of the episode. So do feel free to contribute if you want to help us out. If you want to get any questions answered, shout out anyone or anything in the game. Those will all come at the end of the episode. So, switch over to the other view now and see if it did get messed up. Hey, there you go. It's looking good. Although Gohan is showing straight away instead of Beerus. There we go. Okay, starting on global, we have the big Dokkan Fest EZA that came out earlier today, which is the physical Dokkan Fest Beerus. This guy, I heard people, we talked about it, I think, a little bit last week, that he was going to be coming out. And I said something similar. Before I go into my experience with him today, trying him out, since I give one of the other guys a chance to jump in, this is a unit that, like, I heard people on JP say he was good when his EZA came out, and then it just kind of feels like nobody really talked about him much anymore after that. And considering the way he interacts with like the content from the worldwide celebration, I find that kind of surprising. So Minato, why don't you start us off? What are your thoughts on the physical EZA Beerus?
I'm just saying, I talked about him all the time. I made multiple tweets. I was like, this guy's really good with Realm of Gods. I literally copy-pasted his passive, creates Rainbow Key Spheres and super effective against all types. And when a Realm of Gods enemy, I copy-pasted that. I made that same tweet like 5 times. But no one understood, and people kept ignoring it. And I was like, this guy, no one's gonna be interested in him before he releases on global. Then he's gonna come out on global, and global players are gonna be like, oh my god, he's actually good. Why did no one talk about him? It's because you guys don't pay attention and don't care. That's why. God. Because like,
let them know how you really feel. Dang.
Well,
I know, right? Damn.
This happens with every GP. No one's talking about Gohan and Piccolo. Then they're gonna come out and people are gonna be like, "Oh my goodness, 23rd World Tournament Goku was so much better." And it's like, I've been saying that, but no, you guys deny me, ignore us. This is why the global player theory is true.
Boo!
I can't wait till you guys catch up. I cannot wait. And
so
I don't
to
have
be
to go
clear,
ever again. But anyways, he's really good, very strong. I love using him. He's really, really, really cool.
Yeah, so to be clear, obviously, you know, when I say no one was talking about him, I'm obviously being a little bit hyperbolic. Like, you know, I might
more about global than he did Beerus.
I might have seen a tweet here and there, you know, but like, yeah, during the worldwide celebration with all of the discussion around how difficult the new stages were, especially people complaining about Fusion Zamasu, I just didn't really see multiple people talking about how good Beerus was for that content. So,
okay,
you know,
so
I've seen a tweet here and there. I definitely saw people, yourself included, saying that he was good.
Right.
But
I just need people to know how you guys don't understand.
He is a real one.
Because it happens.
He is a real one.
Although Beerus is really good, especially in the new red zones, because he's a physical unit. Physical units recently are just so much stronger because all the bosses are in. So it's like, okay, well, that's helpful. And then he gets really high damage reduction with the 7 orbs, which is very useful against AoEs. And he hits really hard. I mean, with the Beerus and Whis, you can get him like 11 mil super effective, turn 1, 13 mil. And especially if you get the active skill up, then he just like really explodes. Like, and that power offensively and defensively. He can get like over 800k defense with 70% reduction before he attacks, and then he just nukes the enemy. It's really cool. He's very fun. I just really want I think I want a new Whis character, because Beerus and Whis are good, but that first attack they take can really hurt them. So that's the only issue I have with them. But okay, sorry about the venting, chat. You know, I just had a
I know,
bro, he's playing Among Us with how much he's vented out here, bro. Dang.
I know, right? But even also taking Beerus's leader skill for exploding rage a little bit too seriously, it seems.
Look, I love physical
Beerus. The category, that's crazy.
I mean, when he came out, he was really good, but now I think he's probably better than even now than he was like compared to release. Even you could argue that because he's just perfect for the end game content right now. I think.
Yeah.
Very pog.
Theo, anything else you want to add to that?
I don't know if I could top that. No, I mean, basically, it's just what I said last week, more or less. It's like, I'm glad he's pretty good, right? I've used him a little bit, right? And I think he's pretty nice. I think once he, gets a couple more units that will, like, link better with him, he'll be even better, because obviously, I remember you, funny enough, I think in last week's episode, talked about how, the problem with Realm of Gods for him is that it's a lot more Saiyan characters, rather than like people who link with him directly. So more linking buddies for him will make him only even better as time goes on. But I think it's nice that he's good, because obviously it feels like we've just been getting a lot of EZAs recently that are like, man, what was even the point?
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird because so many EZAs, they like refuse to give like any defensive mechanics, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy gets 70% damage reduction orb changing. It's like unprecedented. I guess the dev team really likes Beerus, or like they're like, we can't release a Beerus now. So
but yeah, literally they either like they really like Beerus, or they just don't have another Beerus in the works for a while, so they were like, I can make this guy good, it'll be fun.
Yeah, right. It's like, I mean, to be fair, when are they ever going to really release another Beerus Dokkan Fest like that, right? Maybe a high Beerus LR, but I think it's good that this guy is really, really powerful. We just, again, next agenda is Whis Dokkan Fest, I think. Whis Dokkan Fest.
That would be cool. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to think, like, what are some other big Beerus moments that they could make into a Dokkan Fest? Because I feel like it's weird because he's so powerful, but it's like there's not like a ton of crazy moments with him that I would think that would stick out for like, grandiose supers. But
yeah, just at best like high Beerus, but he's an LR, I think. Whether it's Dokkan Fest or any other,
I think so.
I think he needs an LR or Carnival, I guess, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely having the Hakai like moment would be cool, because considering there's like no Beerus units do it, right? It's all like the Sphere of Destruction thing, or like him with Whis and like all Cataclysm orbs or whatever they call them. So yeah, having an actual Hakai Beerus would definitely be very good. So yeah, I tried him out. Obviously, very impressed. I mean, I ran him on a 200% team, the Bond of Master and Disciple team with Gohan. Literally on a turn where I didn't get the rotation with Beerus and Whis, so it was just him with Gohan, so he has like Fierce Battle and the Innocence, and that's it. And he still does like a 13 million attack stat, which is pretty good. And then, yeah, obviously in the end game content, if you're fighting Realm of Gods, he creates rainbow orbs. He's also super effective against all types, which is pretty good, because some of these later stages, like, you know, even the ones that start off as Int, they then change to something else. So he's still able to do the big damage. The only thing I would say, obviously, you know, he's not completely invincible. The fact that you get those 7 orbs, you get the extra damage reduction, that's only before he attacks. So after he's attacked, he drops back down to having 40%. So if he takes like a big super after that, he can take a lot of damage. Obviously, like, it's not a good example because it's type disadvantage, but I wanted to try him out against STR Goku Black. So obviously the Goku Black Red Zone stage, you fight STR base Goku Black, and then he becomes Int Rose. And the STR Goku Black, the first normal attack of the turn, does like 20k or something like that only. And then he gets the extra defense from getting hit, so then he just takes double digits. But then if he gets super attacked afterwards, he takes like 800k. So obviously I mean, it's type disadvantage, so I'm not going to say like, oh, that means he's bad because he can't tank a type disadvantage super. But it is one of those interesting things where he's like really, really strong defensively before he attacks. And then obviously afterwards he can take a bit of damage. But obviously against these Int bosses, he is definitely in a pretty good spot. He's another one of those units that it's kind of awkward if he gets the first attack that he takes is the super, because he gets that buff when he gets hit, especially if you get a rotation where there are no attacks in slot 1. So it's like you put him in slot 1, he does his attack, then he gets supered, and then he can take a bit of damage. But considering how good he is, I feel like that's an appropriate like weakness for him to have, right? Because cards can't be, you know, invincible in every single way, right? He's putting out tons of damage. He's really, really good at tanking before he attacks. So that's kind of like his only weakness is the damage that he can take after he attacks. But yeah, I think he's definitely very good. So one thing that I've seen people talking about today, and it does kind of tie into what Minato was saying, I guess, where it's like once Global gets hold of something, more people start talking about it again. But obviously the big thing that I've seen quite a few people say now is Beerus, do you think, does Beerus, I guess I should say, have arguments for potentially being the best EZA TUR? So Minato, what do you think?
I do want to point out really quickly before we continue with the topic, Discord might be bugging out a little. So I noticed on stream, like me and Dokkan Assets gets frozen sometimes. On my end, like I can't like hear Dokkan Assets or again. So once in a while, I think Discord is messing up. Just want to let y'all know in case like you just see like me talking and was like
yeah, I think it might be a Discord issue because I'm also like it's cutting out for me as well. I think it might be, so I think it's just Discord. So apologies for that.
It's okay. We have the Spotify link that'll be available at a later time.
Yes, sir.
So if you miss out anything, check it out. Anyways, so continuing on from there, we also for best TUR, I would say no. I think that Fusion Zamasu and Future Gohan are pretty comfortably better than Beerus, because in the current content, Beerus is really good. But I think one thing is that Global doesn't have Omega yet, so they're not also considering Omega Shenron as a fight. And obviously, Omega Shenron not being like he's still good against Omega Shenron, but he could really struggle in that middle phase. He's not consistently getting his 7 orbs all the time. His partner Beerus and Whis could, I think, struggle in like longer form concept. Funny enough, because their passive will run out, and then they have to get hit again in the hardest part of the fight against in Omega, right? And stuff like that could be an issue. So I like if you're saying global, maybe there's a better argument potentially, but I think that Agl Zamasu, Future Gohan, is definitely better. I think he's more around like physical Piccolo level, and I think I probably would have him at 4 above Blue Kaioken Goku and like physical 17. I think like 4 or 5 is like around the placement I would put him on. Like he's very strong for sure, but I just think that those 3 characters overall work better across the entire game. And especially considering that, not every fight is going to be a Realm of Gods enemy where he will be as consistent as he is now. And he's also a little lucky that he has type advantage. So, yeah. And again, like someone in chat is saying, like, oh, Omega's fine for Beerus. Beerus is definitely perfectly fine in an Omega, but you're not going to consistently get those 7 orbs. Him having to take that first attack against STR Omega, he takes like a 200, 300k normal. And even with his reduction up, and especially without his reduction up, like it could be scary for him in that fight in the middle phase. So I think that that's just something that people aren't also considering. But it's still really good. I just wanted to say he's best TUR because I feel like future Gohan and Zamasu feel more comfortable to me defensively, while it's also doing really good offensive power, even stronger than Beerus in a lot of situations. That's my take. That's my opinion.
Yeah, okay, that seems fair. Theo, anything else to add or?
I mean, not really. I don't think that he's the best. I definitely don't think that he's the best. I think, he's definitely good. Like, I think he's probably a contender for top 5, I would say, or maybe around there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's I don't want to say it's not fair to say. I don't think it's outlandish either. I understand why, but I don't think he's necessarily on top. I think that there's definitely a couple that are better than him. So that's about it.
I think that he's definitely top 5 EZA TUR level.
Yeah.
Maybe even you could say he's top 3. Like I think, if you want to say he's third best EZA TUR, I'm fine with that. I just don't think he's above Zamasu or Gohan. Especially because I think they have way better setups too. Well, maybe not necessarily the setup, but better partners. Beerus, like I said, he wants a new partner really badly. I think his team, the Master and Student Bond team, is like so disgusting right now. It's absolutely insane. And again, another thing, Global doesn't have like that Kid Gohan and Piccolo really good option. And if you're able to float them somehow, they give that multiple turn support buff. It can get really nasty for Beerus too. Yeah.
Yeah, that crazy support that they can get from, or that anyone can get, I guess, on that team from the new Gohan and Piccolo is definitely pretty crazy. So yeah, very interesting because they're another unit. They strike me. I mean, obviously, I haven't had to have great hands-on experience with them, obviously, because I'm not on JP. But they kind of strike me as being in a similar place to like where the androids are in terms of they're a unit that's come out that you can put on a team and they're like a really, really good support unit as opposed to like you necessarily want to run double leads and have them on main rotation all the time. So yeah, I've seen some pretty cool rotations with them buffing other units. So
I mean, even like with that unit, if we're getting a little into the talk just in general, I think that unit I don't really share too many links though. I guess the support is really good for Beerus. 150% attack and defense on hit, and then doesn't he also get another 150% attack on super? So it's like just a lot of stats that he gets, and having that like even just 60% support is really, really good for Beerus in that situation.
Yeah, I'm having some Discord issues on my side now as well, but you
know, Discord. Sorry, chat. Discord issues. You can't blame us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one we can't control.
Unfortunately,
it is what it is.
But well,
he's using time skip. That's a good comment.
Bro, that's crazy.
LR hit incoming. So yeah, that's it for the big ticket release for Global for today. Aside from we had a little bit of new content, new Infinite Dragon Ball history with the GT Baby Saga. Very straightforward. I did a fun run that will be coming out after the podcast to do all the missions in one go using a full Super Saiyan 4 team with the Limit Breakers. Nice. So that was pretty cool. We had the World Tournament stage of Super Battle Road, which myself and multiple other people posted screenshots on Twitter today of them soloing with Piccolo Jr. because he is just the GOAT still.
He is the GOAT.
So him, Piccolo Jr. still coming in clutch. So that was really it in terms of what came out today. We do have some stuff coming out, however, in the next few days as well. We have a chain battle coming up with the giant ape baby, everyone's favorite game mode. And then Wednesday, Global is getting more quest stages as well. And as far as we know so far, in terms of what's been officially announced, that is the latest thing that has been revealed in the news or in the celebration info, is the quest stage update. Now that should be the last 4 stages for area 31. So it'll be 31.5 up to 31.8. That does not get us as far as the stages where you get the farmable free-to-play Trunks that eventually awakens into Trunks and Broly, so obviously that's still some point in the distance. As far as you guys, obviously you're on JP, I think 31.4 still stays the best Link level stage, right, after the other 4 come out.
Correct.
Yeah, so just a couple of new quest stages. Obviously that'll be one of those things you bash that out in 5 minutes and get like, what is it, like 12 stones, because it's 4 stages, 3 difficulties, so nothing really too crazy. But that's the only thing that has been announced in the news so far in terms of having a specific date. However, we do have the information about update 5.15.0 coming to Global, which according to the update, unless there's probably minor fixes and stuff in there they don't list the details of, but the only main thing listed in the actual info update is Global is finally going to be getting the Link skill orbs. So
let's go.
Yeah, I know, right in time for Heroes, baby. So
yes, sir.
Most of you probably know or probably understand exactly what these are and how they work. Theo, why don't you give us a quick breakdown here of the orbs and how we will get them?
So basically the TLDR is that the orbs are essentially a way for you to level up a single Link individually. There are different types of orbs for basically like the different Link levels, right? For how high the Link level is, obviously. The more like powerful, I guess you would say, the skill orb, or more rare, right? Because it's like, 3 tiers of like bronze, silver, gold, or I think it might be rainbow for the last one, actually.
Are they like small, medium, and large or something? I don't know.
Yeah, small, medium, and large, something like that, right? The 3 tiers. Basically, with those, you are then able to level up single Link. So that's really helpful, obviously, because of course, if you are Link leveling a unit and you've had them on your team for, like months at a time trying to get that one Link up, you can use those Link level orbs to be able to finally get that Link up, which is really, really nice. In terms of getting them, there is a weekly event that does give you the orbs, which is nice. It's basically like the same type of thing as like your Whis event, right? And of course, in classic gacha game fashion, there is a pack that you can buy in the shop where you can also get some of those too. So that's the basics of it. It is very handy. And you can obviously use it on any unit as well. It's not like it's limited or something like that. So yeah, they're definitely pretty helpful.
Yeah, and then I think the main thing, if you can chime in as well, Minato, because obviously you've experienced it firsthand as well with it being on JP. So the stage that we can farm every week, it does not drop the large orbs, isn't that right?
Yep, that's correct. So essentially what happens is there's the initial login bonus, and I believe it gives you
quite a few, right?
Yeah,
you get a few, yeah.
Did you not get like either, I think it's 20 or 20 to 30 gold, like the large orbs, right? And that is pretty good. You want to save those especially if you're free to play. You want to save those orbs for major like big bad bosses, characters, stuff like that. So what happens is the gold ones allows you to get links. I believe it's up to, you should be able to get, I think it's 8 to 9 and then 9 to 10. And essentially, if you want to max out a character from level 8 to 10, you need 3 of those gold orbs per character. If it's just 9 to 10, you need 2 of those gold orbs per character. So you really want to save those for those big characters that really need Link level 10 if you're free to play. Now, the weekly packs do give you a solid amount of gold orbs as well. They're not expensive in any way, really. I would say for like, compared to other Dokkan Stone prices, there is a lot of value in there if you are playing a player and you're interested in doing that. Obviously, I don't really recommend spending money in the game. But if you do end up getting the pack, at least for me, it's 4 USD. You get 20 of the gold skill orbs and then 30 of the purple skill orbs. and then you can buy that pack twice. So essentially, you're able to get. I think it's with that in mind. It's basically around like 10 to 12 links to just a link level 10 by the monthly scholar packs if you do want to get that, which is pretty useful, at least specifically from 8 to 10, right? You could even get that a lot larger for just 9 to 10. The blue orbs and the purple orbs drop at a pretty decent rate in the weekly events. You want to make sure you do that every week, but that's the only thing I dislike about it, is that you can't get gold orbs, at least like a small chance from the event. I think that's really
I
dumb,
do think that's kind of stupid.
I really hope it's updated in the future. And we also have been getting these skill orbs in like the celebration missions. So when the Gohan and Piccolo celebration comes to global, you will see in the celebration missions the skill orbs are available.
That's good.
Still only blue and purple though. So we haven't. They're being very stingy with the gold. Again, I assume in the future, like at least in the next few months, we'll have avenues to get gold skill orbs. Easily, I could see them giving out gold skill orbs during, like, let's say, New Year's, anniversary, Golden Week.
Yeah,
like
top grossing maybe.
Even top grossing, right? They can start giving those out eventually. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't think that there'll be as stingy as these with like link level keys. Not at all. I mean, so far they haven't been as stingy. But you want to really make sure, if you're free to play and you're not buying any of those packs, to hold on to those gold skill orbs.
Yeah, for sure.
Very, very important. That's all I do want to say though. I mean, me personally, as a paying player, I have a bunch of skill orbs that I'm just saving for the hero celebration. I already have
I
have over 300 blue, I have 150 purple, and then I have 77 of the gold. So I could. I finished summoning during link level 10 in like less than a minute. It's really sick. So yeah, I mean, I could also just get them all to 9 and use the keys, which is also
True.
probably a better idea, because I have like 50 keys I could use, so I have like 10 runs.
Yeah, I have like 90 keys at this point.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I've been saving them for heroes.
I think the one thing I would say about the orbs, and it's difficult because I feel like the way the orbs are best used is in conjunction with the keys, but obviously that doesn't help you if you're a free-to-play player, but because the gold orbs are so difficult to get, or so few and far between, even if you are buying the packs, I feel like the best way to use them is obviously to, when you're link leveling characters and you get to that point where, you'll know if you have keys, if you're someone that buys the keys, this is, I guess, who it mainly applies to, you'll obviously know how many you're willing to use on a new unit or a new set of units. So you know what you're aiming for, right? So if you want to use like 3 keys, you're trying to get all their links to 7, and then sometimes you get one gets stuck at 6 and the other ones are already going up to 8, and it gets really annoying. So the best way to use them, I feel like, is if you've decided that's what you're going to do, right? 3 keys, when they all get to 7, you get to that point where like they're all at 7 and 2 of them are at 6, and then you just use the orbs to put those 2 up to 7, and then you use your 3 keys. Whereas for free to play, like Minato said, I think the biggest thing is, do not, as much as the temptation will be there, do not rush to use all of those ones that they give you when the system gets introduced, because we all get given a whole bunch of them for free.
Yeah.
But then from what we can tell so far, in terms of the large ones, you might not be getting any more for quite some time. So I think what Minato said is definitely what I would say also, is you want to save those for any future unit that comes out that you want to go for, that primarily especially has like big bad bosses, because that is the link that you'll want to get to level 10 straight away. And obviously for people who are free to play, you don't obviously, I assume, spend stones refreshing stamina, so link leveling is a process that takes longer. So you want to be able to get those big bad bosses units to 10 as quickly as, even if it's just that link, which would be quite funny, right? You imagine like we get like new Dokkan Fest like Bojack or something comes out, and then you've got like free to play players that have them at all link level like 3, except Big Bad Bosses is level 10. But that's what you want. But that's what you want.
Right?
That's a good idea.
So I double checked and made sure you do get 20 large orbs. So if you wait until the link gets to 9 and then you get it from 9 to 10, you could theoretically get 10 different Big Bad Bosses units from 9 to 10, if that's what you wait for with those gold skill orbs. And to be fair, good Big Bad Bosses units don't come by that often. So you'll probably have a lot of, like, you'll probably have the ability to save for them. Like I don't know, like if you get Ma Junior, you don't have Ma Junior yet, and you get him. That's really good. It does suck for like, I guess the only downside is I don't know why it was like a month late in global. It's like, global heroes players don't have as many orbs. Heroes units at once, but not that big of a deal. And it also saves you like stones for stamina, because you could like for me, if I'm like leveling a brand new Dokkan Fest, I could just get them all to 6 instantly, and then start link leveling from there instead of having to like spend like a stamina bar to get all those links to 6. It could save time.
Minato, you used instant transmission again.
What I do? Oh, did I freak?
No, Discord was just bugging.
Yeah, I was just muted because I was typing in chat and I got a very loud keyboard. But yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing we could do about that. Especially because I'm the one doing the recording side. So obviously, if they freeze for me, then obviously there's not going to be any audio. But we're hanging in there. I mean, the important thing is, like you said, is even though it's a shame it's a little bit late, it is still good that while we're still in this time period, as we have been since the very beginning, where the games aren't synced yet, it is good that these quality of life updates do come to global at least a lot faster than things like the banners and EZAs and stuff like that, right? Because it's about a month, which is pretty good for like version updates and stuff like that.
It's better than 6 months.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. We remember a time, we talk about the dark days of Dokkan and before GSSR and stuff like that. But there was a period where global was exactly 6 months behind JP on like everything, and that was waiting a month, that's not too bad, and it's just in time for Heroes, so obviously I'm pretty happy about that.
Yes, sir.
So yes, definitely very cool. That'll be coming out soon. I think the maintenance, in fact, I can have a look here because it should be once the maintenance is over, that will be implemented. There is also, I think Annie mentioned it in chat, because obviously the update is kind of around the link leveling with the orbs. They also will be adding in the feature where you can filter your box by characters that are link level 10 or not, which is great because I'm one of those people that are like, I put a tag on my link level 10
I did too,
units, but then I like miss sometimes, and then you just have no way to know, like whereas now you will actually be able to search for them.
I thought that was the 5.16.0, is it not?
I don't know, because the thing, all it said in the news was about the link skill orbs, because I don't think they were the same update on JP actually, were they? So
let me see.
Maybe not. But yeah, the maintenance is Wednesday. So for me, it's Wednesday morning. I think
it was that update, actually. I'm not seeing it here.
Okay.
I think it was that update, but...
All right. So maintenance ends 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning for me. So that'll be like midnight PST, or I think like 3 a.m. if you're in EST. But yeah, by Wednesday morning, the maintenance will have finished, and those will be available in the game. So
I can confirm it is update, so you'll be able to sort from there.
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, essentially that's it in terms of what we know is coming to global in the next week or so. So the interesting topic of discussion, we won't spend ages on it. I made a video about it, but the interesting question is, so that's all we know in terms of content. And that takes us up to Wednesday the 15th. And we know from the images posted on the official Twitter and the information from the live stream that the Heroes celebration officially begins on the 21st. I think it will be the morning of the 22nd in my time zone. But that basically leaves us roughly between 6 to 7 days, depending on your time zone exactly, between the 15th and when Heroes comes out. So it's unlikely that we'll get a week of absolutely nothing. But, I mean... it's happened before.
It's possible, yeah.
So the question is, what do we think is going to happen in that gap? Because I made a video talking about, there are two, I think, potential options. A lot of people have obviously been talking about the fact that because Goku came out at the beginning of November, a little bit earlier than we had originally expected and predicted on the podcast a couple of episodes ago. So a lot of people are wondering, are they going to try and squeeze LR Omega Shenron in before Heroes as well, so we'd end up having another banner before Heroes, or are they going to fit in something else? Because I think last year for Global we just got like a random legendary summon like filler banner. It had like UI Goku, Jiren and Angel Vegeta featured on it or something, and that banner was literally only up for like a week. They added a couple of sales that were live for like 2 days, and then the Heroes celebration came out. So Minato, what do you think? Is Omega going to come this early, or what do you think they're
I'm
going
going
to
to say, honestly, I don't know. They could squeeze it in there, but what I personally predict is they're gonna have some filler banner, and then they're gonna return God Goku. I think that is a more likely option to me, just because I feel like it's a little too close. But then also, you could consider the fact that I remember the Gammas came out on like the 21st last year of October, and then Bardock came out on like the 31st. So it's not like impossible to say the 14th, because we know the reason why we're expecting a new banner in general, by the way, is because the Super Saiyan 4 Goku sales end on the 14th instead of the 20th, right? Like how JP sales are ending on the 20th. So there's a new banner coming out on the 14th, but we can't really say for sure what it is. I could see them drop Omega or not. What we do know is that after the maintenance on Global for the new version update, that will have whatever new character could be coming.
Mm-hmm.
So then we would see an announcement like on the 12th or 13th, but not impossible. But if we don't see anything within the next like 3 days, I would say it's probably just some filler banner, which probably fits more aligned with how things should go.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing is where else are they going to put Omega then?
In December. So I would say start of December would be, well, I guess end of November would be Super Trunks after Heroes. Mm-hmm. Then for the Christmas, like the middle of December double rates banner, it'll be Omega. Then for the Christmas banner, it could be again the Tanabata banner, right? Because usually that Tanabata banner with the anniversary units, that usually is like a Christmassy banner. So I still think that's going to be December. Yeah. So they could be like, okay, we're just going to pair Omega with that, and then Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku is going to be on that banner with the 8th anniversary units. Then that's when they give us EZA Baby and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because
so it's like, yeah, I think that feels more likely to me, but who knows? I mean, I thought Super Saiyan 4 Goku was December, and it's like, oh, yep, he's November.
Yeah,
can't really tell.
Yeah, so it was 2021. They did the similar thing where they released the Tanabata LR at the beginning of November, which was the Tech Super Gogeta, and then they did that exact thing where they brought out the Tanabata banner that was like the one. So for JP, I think it comes out like a week later or something, where it's the Tanabata unit and the anniversary units on a banner where there's like 30 featured Dokkan Fest or something, and then Global gets that as the Christmas banner. And I always remember it because I remember people complaining, because obviously the way the coin system is supposed to work, obviously Gogeta had come to Global at the beginning of November, then that banner went away, then for Christmas we got the Tanabata banner, which Gogeta comes back on, but you can't get him with red coins because on JP those banners were out at the same time, and they were kind of always supposed to be live at the same time, and then because that didn't happen on Global, they didn't make him available with coins because he'd only come out like a month before that. So
yeah,
just to keep you guys,
that was different was Gohan and Goten.
Yeah, so just to prepare anyone, like that is probably what's going to happen, right? That will be the Christmas banner. Yeah. Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku will be on there, but he will not be available with red coins. And so, yeah, I don't know how they'll do it. I think we'll get a filler banner as well. I honestly would be expecting a weird legendary summon filler banner like last year, and not something that has God Goku on it. Only because what I'm thinking is if Trunks is going to be at the end of November / beginning of December, because I think last year it was like the 3rd of December or something was when the Dokkan Fest came out. I could see them putting God Goku on Trunks' banner because no one cares about Trunks and it's right before Christmas. So to get people to summon, I could see them putting him on there. Or what do you guys think about this? We won't talk about this for ages, but before we move on to JP, one of the this could go off onto a whole other branch, so we'll keep it brief.
Oh no.
So obviously people would love if the 9th anniversary was synced. The games aren't synced yet, but that doesn't mean we can't have the anniversary at the same time. One of the things that people have wondered about, which I mean people predict every unit under the sun, is a new UI Goku, or like UI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta, maybe something related to Tournament of Power or Reps of Universe 7 again, which if Global and JP shared the anniversary at the same time, it doesn't matter if the games aren't fully synced, right? We're getting new powerful Dokkan Fest exclusive LRs. However, if we are getting something Reps of Universe 7 related, JP would obviously have the advantage of having the androids, and who returned on their banner God Goku. So what do you guys think about the potential that the beginning of December/end of November Dokkan Fest for Global is actually the androids and not Trunks, and they switch them around because then God Goku is on that banner, and then potentially, yeah, 9th anniversary is TOP related. What do you think?
It would not be
that is interesting.
With Trunks' banner, that's where the 17s return. And they haven't returned in Global yet. So the thing is that God Goku obviously on Global came out before. So that could work out, right? And Kale would also return. And I wouldn't say that's impossible. That's like a good theory. Just funny that Super Trunks is the one that gets pushed back. So it's like, 8 months later after Super Trunks releases on Global. It's like kind of like that's where it's kind of weird. And it's like, instead they could just like you said, put God Goku on the Trunks banner, then move 17 to the androids banners, like the 17s to them, which would downgrade the androids banner in Global, but would upgrade Trunks' banner. Like, I think that also makes sense, where it's like, let's say God Goku comes out with Super Trunks in December, then in March, before Saiyan Day, the androids come out, and then instead of God Goku 17's on the banner, and it's 17 and Kale, right?
Because then obviously God Goku comes back again on the Saiyan Day banner. So it really doesn't make sense. I mean, that could be how it ends up with how the schedule got delayed, but it just would be so weird for him to make his first return like a month or two like before he comes back on the Saiyan Day banner.
That's what I'm saying. That's why my thought is that, I mean, honestly, that sounds more likely to me instead of what like having a filler banner for him, and it could just be a banner like last year for next week on Global. But I think I kind of like that idea actually, where it's like he's on Trunks' banner. At first I was like, but it's like they don't really care.
I feel like because once they changed the order, and obviously Goku came out first, they didn't change his banner because I don't think they ever changed the Tanabata banner. That would have made his banner insane if it had God Goku on it. But I can literally see it either being like after Heroes, whether it is the very end of November or beginning of December, I can see it either being Super Trunks and they put God Goku on his banner, or we get the androids first and obviously God Goku returns on their banner on JP. So either way, hopefully the boy is coming back before the end of this year. Because I mean, the thing is, for me, I got quite lucky during Saiyan Day, and mine is at 90%, so I'm not really fussed.
Nice.
When he eventually comes back, I'm sure I'll pull that copy before I even pull the new unit, and if I don't, I can just get the last one with coins. But I know there are a lot of people that don't have him to this day, because I still make like the guides for all the EZAs and stuff like that, and like because his leader skill is so versatile, he's just such a good unit to have because he's on so many categories, and you could just build a pure Saiyan and Hybrid Saiyan mix team with him that fills out multiple different categories. So I know there's loads of people out there that still really want to get him, so hopefully before the end of the year he will return for the first time. But
I think that would be good chance, honestly. But we'll have to wait and see how they want to handle it, for sure.
Exactly. So by next week's episode, we will have already had the maintenance. I'm sure we'll have all individually reported on everything, and then we will know, hopefully, what is going on in that final week. Because next week will be the last episode before Heroes finally arrives. So we'll know everything that's going on that week and the leading up to Heroes. So yeah, obviously we'll be able to discuss that in more detail next
week. To make sure I get some time off for Heroes from work, because it's not like, even if all the units are bad, people are so excited for. I'm excited for like Super Moonbreaker, and it's like there's so many characters that I cannot work like a whole 8-hour shift week.
It's just such a hype lineup. Like I've had a lot of people say the same thing to me, right? It's like, even if the units end up being like, we don't want them to be bad, but like even if they end up being like, painfully average or whatever, people are just really hyped about the lineup because you got Limit Breakers, you got Vegeta and Broly, you got Super Saiyan 3 Rose, who most people didn't expect to come this early, and obviously, as we talked about a little bit last week, even people that don't really know much about Heroes, like Rose's a really popular character, so people see like Super Saiyan 3 Rose, and we've got the Time Breaker mask, and like even people who don't really know much about it are getting hyped for it. So yeah, very exciting. But like I said before, we won't go off on one because we'll be here. We'll be here all day, and that's what we've got the 2 weeks. And hey, if not much comes
Yes,
out next
sir.
week, we can fill up some of that time with
remember last
talking
year
about heroes as well.
where I had
Yes,
where
sir.
like the GP data download came out and I had to translate all of the EZAs. And there was like 10 units.
That's rough.
And then I had to translate the SSRs. And it was like and then I like translated all of them, and then I had to record a video for it. It was like
Wasn't
I felt
Was it the Heroes? I can't remember. Was it Heroes where like I don't know if it was last year or it might have been the year before. Because I think it was Goresh had posted them or something. I know you did as well, obviously last year. But wasn't it a thing where like they posted the details for like, all the cards, and then like an hour later, Global just posted them all in English?
Yep.
I know I did what I'm talking about is the EZAs, because the EZAs were
right.
downloaded. That's what because Goresh usually does that, like, you know, when the units he doesn't post on Twitter.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time he's done like data download, like translations. So that's why I just don't, because like no one else does.
Fair.
My goat. Thank you, Minato.
Yeah, appreciate Minato for those translations.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so
we appreciate you, homie.
We do. So we are going to move on now from global over to the JP side. So as the title of the episode suggests, we got one god got his EZA over on global, but another pair of gods got their EZA over on JP.
Another pair of gods.
And that is, of course, the LR Vegeta and Nappa. So these guys, I mean, from what I could tell, obviously, again, being on global, I kind of have to see this stuff, you know, with a bit of an outside view. I haven't used the private server. I haven't even loaded up the private server thing for ages. So I did, as many people have done from that perspective. I just saw their details after the translations were posted. I thought they seemed pretty good. There was some discussion going on about best hidden potential builds for them and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm assuming, Minato, you've taken them into most of the different events by this point. So give us your breakdown on the EZA for LR, Vegeta, and Nappa.
I think that they are overall usable unit for sure. They're good. I wouldn't say they're bad. But they're not like one of those like standout EZAs, I feel like. I think that they're very utility based with Nappa's dodge, and then, you know, with Vegeta's heal. Like when you get Vegeta specifically is very powerful. I think I really like Vegeta's kit, especially with the 3-turn guard, could be very helpful, especially in these shorter contents. I think the issue is Nappa. Nappa has a pretty huge ability to him specifically, where he gets 5 ki and then an additional with a high chance to become a super attack. But the issue is you have to be above 78% HP. And I think that's very hard to stay above 78% HP in difficult content. So a lot of times I end up not getting that passive. And, you know, all of his multiplicative defense are from his super attack effects, where he has the 100% raise of defense on his 18 ki, then 50% raises of defense on his 12 ki. So like if you get like a triple super with him, like he's gonna basically 200% defense on super attack, and then he's starting off at what was he starting off like, I don't know, like 300k or so. So it's like it just like doubles up and it just gets really, really high. But if you don't get the additional super, then you're less likely to get these hidden potential one. And it's like, oh, he's at like, you know, 400 to 500k defense, and it's like sometimes that isn't even enough. And obviously, since he gets all his defense on super attack, he could struggle against AoEs. But, you know, if again, that 3rd-turn guarantee dodge is really, really useful. The heal, the Vegeta and house. Vegeta is very strong, I think. He does like 13, 14 mil, super effective against all types. He's guarding. I think he can get like close to a mil defense after he super attacks as well. With the guard ability. So I like him a lot. I think that's against specifically a extreme class enemy where he against a super class enemy, he gets an extra 180% attack and defense, but like there's like no super class enemy, so
yeah.
I mean there's the sort of Hope Trunks and the Vegeta Blue. Maybe I haven't taken him into that Vegeta Blue stage. They could be good in there, they debuff, but the best thing about this guy, in my opinion, he looks like he's so much better for World Tournament. So next World Tournament, I'll see how he looks. I already liked using this guy in World Tournament already, but now I think that they're going to be a lot stronger in the World Tournament since that. I think the flat boost where it's like I think it's 70, 100 attack and defense against per enemy. That's 78%. So if you're facing like 7 enemies with 70% attack and defense per enemy, they're probably going to hit very hard in World Tournament, I think. But we'll see.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like 7 times 78 is 546. So 546% extra attack on their AoE in the World Tournament. So yeah,
and then they get triple.
Yeah, so it's like what seems very interesting about them is they definitely seem to have made like the Nappa part of the card, which is good, right? Because that's obviously what he starts off as. That's all you'll see in the World Tournament. Like they've made the Nappa part of the card ridiculously good for the World Tournament. And then once you transform into, well, exchange into Vegeta, then he is the part of the card that's really good for like the single boss content. So it's kind of like you just got to, in the tougher events, like endgame stuff, you've just got to kind of get past the Nappa part. Which obviously, you know, you can use that active skill to get the guaranteed dodge, and then the next turn after that, potentially you're going to exchange. So yeah, they seem like they could be pretty fun. I know you talked about the Vegeta part, but like, how would you rate Vegeta? I know the 3-turn guard is a big thing, of course, but like Vegeta versus like, you know, these bosses like physical fusions of Zamasu and stuff like that. Like, how is he holding up? Like, you know, when you get to that last phase, like, how does he hold up against those bosses?
So I forgot what he did against physical fusions of Zamasu, but he was able to take the double-digit normals after he super attacked, and that's talking about after fusions of Zamasu super attacks.
Okay.
So that's good. Oh. And because obviously that hits really hard. And against a super attack, I think the only time I got actually hit with a super by him was before Vegeta super attack. So I think he ended up getting one shot for like 660k or so. And an issue is villain teams are weak, but after he super attacks, he would be able to live the fusions of Zamasu super probably for like 400k. That Vegeta, which is obviously I think pretty good, all things considered. I just my issue isn't really like the Vegeta part of the card. I think the Vegeta part is great. It's really that I think turn 1, the very first turn, Nappa's kind of just soar out there with just raw defense, like 700k at most.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially with this AoE bosses meta, he's not really good there. So, I don't know. That's like the only weakness for him, that slot one, like that, the very first turn. But if you're able to get him, like, I mean, to be honest, his best situation is if he's in slot 7. So you instantly get the dodge. And then the next turn you get Vegeta out. Like, Nappa is not strong enough defensively like it should be, I think. So that's an issue. But no, Vegeta does have the 3-turn guard. So you basically get Vegeta out, and then like by the time the fight's wrapped up, he still would have his guard up. Unless you're against like Omega and you get it off very early. That's the only fight where it's like the guard can run out. But against Omega, he did pretty good. He was able to even he took a little bit of damage from the Omega before he supered, but like about like it's like 3,000 damage, like not double digits, but like 3,000, like very little. So that was good.
That's not bad.
And I think he lived a super attack before Omega, like Omega supered him before he supered and he still lived. So that's also pretty good. Yeah. So I think I like Vegeta a lot.
And what about you?
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I just wanted to know if Theo had any extra thing. I don't know if you've had a chance to use them much since they got their EZA, but...
No, I have not had a chance to use them too much. I do agree with Minato, though. It is nice that it kind of seems like they have, like... Well, I guess the both of you sort of said this, right? Like, multiple use cases, which is nice, because sometimes units, you know, only have, like... basically one event that they're good for sometimes, right? Yeah. So it's nice that they have multiple use cases. Obviously, this is only making the you know, like Saiyan Saga team better, obviously, with their EZA being pretty good. Obviously, you know, the tech grade 8 Vegeta, hopefully his EZA will be good, and then these guys will be on a pretty good rotation. So yeah, I'm excited to get a chance to use them. I'm not sure we're going to try them out, but yeah, I'll have to give them a whirl at some point coming up here. But yeah.
Yeah, so they definitely seem interesting. It's good to get these yellow coin LRs, like when they get their EZAs. It's obviously very good when they actually have a decent level of usability. And then, hey, even if you You know, depending on the teams they're on, you might have better or more optimal choices for things like, you know, red zone and stuff like that. But as Minato already said, you know, very good for the World Tournament. One of the best builds is obviously still, aside from just throwing Piccolo Jr. on there, of course, but having as many of these AoE LRs as you can get. And so them having the EZA and all the buffs that they get, they just make it more likely that that one super is going to be all you need to kill all the enemies. And then obviously that increases your pace at which you can get all of your wins and get all of your points. Especially now, obviously, their EZA is only on JP. Especially JP has obviously the thing now where you can start from times 30 difficulty straight away. So you really can just get flying with the... getting your points and getting all those missions done. Because if you're someone that just wants to get those, was it 30 million points and however many wins it is in a row, 30 wins in a row, you can get that as quickly as possible. So, yeah, very good.
It's really nice, honestly. Like, I got to admit, I'm a certified World Tournament hater. I'm not a fan of the World Tournament whatsoever, but I mean, like at this point, right? Like maybe back in the day when I was first playing and, you know, you have that initial, the honeymoon phase, right? But obviously after doing it for so many times, I'm like, man, this is just like, I don't even care at this point. But not only was it, you know, this like more recent one, I was like, well, it's more stones for Dragon Ball Heroes upcoming. But obviously with that 30 mil points, it is like really easy. Like I'm talking about, like, I honestly did World Tournament up to the 23 million points because I have like a ton of Kai, so I didn't really care about the extra. But it is like so incredibly easy that I think it honestly made me like enjoy World Tournament again because it made it feel so much more bearable. And not only that, it made it feel so much more like reasonable, I think is like the best way to put it. Like I even made a couple of tweets when World Tournament was happening, right? I got to Beerus tier, right? Because you know how they have the different like tiers of the characters or whatever.
Yeah.
I got to Beerus tier, and obviously this was starting from the 30, you know, like the 30 times in only 5 complete runs.
Like, yeah, because the 30 times is instant now, right? That's why.
Right. Yeah. So because of that, like that's so quick because like when you're going through all those tiers before, you don't get to that until, you know, a couple more runs after that, like quite a few more runs after that if memory serves. So the fact that it's like only 5 and you're already that high up, to me was just like, dang, okay, I'm with it. So I feel like it's definitely a very nice change. It's something that's so simple, right, that they changed. Like it's something that is so easy that, you know, they could have done, I guess, for a while, to be honest. But it's honestly, though, it's been one of my favorite changes to Dokkan in recent times. So definitely try these guys out on the funny 30 times when that comes to Global. Hopefully that'll be for Global's next World Tournament. I don't know if it technically in like the timeline would have been, but
it should be tied to the specific number of the World Tournament. So whenever Global gets the 50th World Tournament,
they should just do it anyway.
Global is like
they should just do it anyway.
They're usually very strict.
The funny thing is, Global's like 3 World Tournaments behind. So last year, actually, obviously we were talking about what's going to come out in the next like week before Heroes. Global actually did have a World Tournament last year. I think it was around the 17th or the 18th. And it's funny because, like, you know, I don't like the World Tournament. I don't mind grinding it. Like, I've always had, obviously, before I was doing this full time, I had a job where I could just play at work. So, like, I've never minded grinding the World Tournament. But I wouldn't say I'm a fan of it. But I even find myself, like, hoping that we'll get one in the next, like, week or so. Because we're so far behind them compared to JP. And also, like, people, I don't think, realize sometimes just how many stones you can actually get from doing it, because even as somebody who grinds it pretty hard, now obviously the counterweight to that is the fact that because I'm ranked 999, I obviously have a ton of stamina, so I can get more runs before I have to refresh. But even if I go ham and I'm playing it non-stop for pretty much the whole weekend, I still end with more stones than I started with.
Right.
So obviously it's really beneficial when it's a world tournament is right before like something you want to summon for, right? But the one thing I did want to ask Theo, in case you did remember, obviously if you don't know for sure, maybe you can like estimate, but did you say you only played up to 23 million, or did you play more than that in the end?
No. Once I got to 23 mil, I stopped. I mean, I don't know if I did like one more over, you know, like if I was like, yeah,
because what I wanted to say then, because I know a lot of people will probably want to do the same. Maybe they'll go to 30 million to get the extra Kais, but like, how long roughly would you say that took, with the fact that now you can start at 30 times to get those 23 million points?
I definitely don't remember like hours. Okay. Let me see if I can look up real quick on Twitter if I tweeted like, "Oh, this is where my world tournament ends" or something like that.
I replied to it.
Let me see.
I was like,
you did?
Yeah, I remember replying to it.
Well, if you did. Find it, then,
I said only 23 mil or something like that, and then you were like, "I don't care."
Yeah, here. So it was.
You're missing out on Kais.
Yeah, I just liked your tweet. Yeah, so it was literally, ironically enough, that it was 23 million points. It was 23 complete runs in a row.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's obviously without losing. Yeah.
And then you responded with your 400 Kais, dude.
Yeah, that's sir.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're running one of these more optimal teams, like you can finish a whole run in, what is it, like a quick? Well, for the people that go crazy, it's probably less than that, but easily like 10 minutes, you can do a whole prelims to finals, like complete run. So 23 of those, like it's a couple of hours, but if you spread that out across the whole weekend, if that's all you want to do, you want to get those missions done, it's not that bad. So
there's one thing I do want to point out as well when it comes to the World Tournament. They added meet to missions, so you can actually meet through missions too.
Yeah, which is really nice.
So you don't necessarily like have to spread as many stones, because they started giving out meet through the missions, which is nice.
Yeah, that was another reason why I grinded it, because I was starting to run a little bit low on the meat items, so I was like, yeah, let me grab a couple of those from the World Tournament, because it was you know, and the nice thing is too, like, I think another thing that made it so much more bearable for me personally, right, that was like really easy to get to that point, at least like it kind of felt that way more in my, you know, in my brain, my reality can be whatever I want type beat, like
I mean, so many people have my junior now too.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's the fact that it's literally so easy with Piccolo Jr., right? Like, he makes it so much more fun. I know it's so, like, dumb to say that, oh my gosh, the difference between tapping 3 orbs and swiping up 1 time on the screen, but it really does feel like a big difference to me, personally. Like, I really do feel like you know, it just makes the whole process so much easier, because it's just, you know, swipe and then you're on to the next stage basically, and obviously with the skip animation button, you know, it's even quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, it's not just you, everyone who has my
oh yeah, no, I know, right?
Oh yes.
Like yeah, but I just mean that's better. Like a contributing factor to it feeling so much more easy in tandem with the 30 million points, is the fact that Piccolo just has the active skill. So that's really nice.
30 times at the start is so just amazing, beautiful.
Yeah, it is very nice. I definitely, whenever the next world tournament comes around, if I'm not like super ultra busy, I will definitely be playing it again. Because you know, I actually enjoyed it.
I have to grind really high in the next world tournament, because this one only got 1 peel-off copy.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said you were going for 2.
I was going for 2, and then the person grinded to 400 million points. And at most, I think the highest I've ever gone was like 300 mil.
Oh god.
And so I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna let him go, and I played Spider-Man. Because the World Tournament came out the weekend Spider-Man came out. That's why I was like really hesitant. Maybe I could have went all in. Yep. I think I could have gotten even like above 400 mil, but I never had before, and I was like, it's not worth it at this point. I want to play Spider-Man so bad, and I just like, I doubt that I'm gonna get, because he was like, I think he was like, that person ended like top 200, top 100. So
wow.
I'm like, yeah, it's like those situations where it is what it is.
Yeah, here, let me see.
As long as I get what's it called? I mean, I don't even care. Like, you know, no one's gonna care about watching 100% Peel Off Showcase in like 6 months from now. Like,
okay,
care, really.
I'm looking it up just to see. So the person who won the world tournament, because it's been the same guy for the last couple world tournaments, and I also follow him. And it just so happened that I also like quote tweeted it, and it came up in my search here. He had 750, I believe that is 750 or 760. The text is so like blurry that I honestly can't tell, but he has, I can't even count what that number is. Hold on, let me like process this in my brain.
I would assume it's 750 million.
793,245,055 points. That was how much the winner got.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's just like I'm not that much of a world tournament junkie. I mean, I was never a world tournament junkie, but you know.
That boy's cooking.
I mean, because I'm like Pilaf, you know, as long as I get 3 copies of him at least. I eventually I'll rainbow him, obviously, because I'm gonna be playing every world tournament. But
right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think we talked about it last week when we talked about Pilaf, or the week before when he came out. The fact that it's like out of 3 world tournaments, you can afford to not finish number 1 in the local once, and then you've got the other 2 you have to, because then you get your 5 copies, right? But yeah, I've told you guys before. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. All you people out there listening to this, if you are regulars around my channel, I did promise you guys next time a world tournament came out and I was available to do so, which obviously I will be now. I will be doing at least a 24-hour world tournament stream.
Oh, we'll I'm so sorry.
Next world tournament I do, I'm gonna make it a subathon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gonna do.
There you go.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do, but potentially the cap, it may be more than 24 hours, so we'll see. Because
I must say, no cap for me.
No cap on
72-hour world tournament stream.
72 hours.
Go up to the 72 hours. We'll just live the whole time.
Well, there you go. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah.
Actually, that probably can never happen because there's a Someone Super podcast. But
true.
No,
you'll stream the podcast on the stream.
Yeah, I'll just join in here. I'll stream myself doing the podcast. I could do that. I could really.
You could. That's true. You definitely could.
Like, there's definitely nothing against that.
That's so funny. Yeah, bro. Respect the grind.
And then they can hear all the technical difficulties previous to it. Yeah.
That's so funny.
All right. So before we move on to the next thing, I just wanted to give a reminder, shout out to all of you guys. There's been a bunch of contributions already that will get read out at the end of the episode. So anyone else, if you do want to help support the podcast, if you have any shout outs you want to make, any questions for us, any comments about anything that we've talked about that you want to be read out at the end of the show, all donations and super chats will be read out once we have finished the final segment. You know it, you love it, trash takes. We have a juicy one for you today, but we'll move on to the final thing that is well, I think, isn't it, the data and stuff is out now, but it's not actually in game for another couple of days, which is going to be the Prime Battle Gohan EZA.
Oh boy.
So this is one we talked about very briefly before we started the episode. I only very briefly read the translations of his EZA details, and it was one of those things where I'd only just woken up. The details got posted at like 3 a.m. UK time, so I'd already missed it by like a good few hours. So I think I literally just glanced over the tweet and went, that looks all right, and then just like closed Twitter. So I don't really know whether he is actually good or not. I don't know if he's even in the data, so I don't know if there's been private server showcases or anything. But Minato, you obviously posted translations for him. Let us know what you think of the Prime Battle Gohan's EZA.
Not really a character I'm going to use, to be honest. Could he help you out? Maybe somewhere, but I don't know. I feel like they could have done a little more with him, and he seems like he's fine, but there's no like really good Saiyan Saga Gokus. Like if you're running him on a Saiyan Saga team, for instance, or like if you look at his teams, right? Hybrid Saiyans doesn't have a Goku. Youth doesn't have. He has to have an adult Goku, right? So like Kid Goku is not included. So Youth doesn't have a Goku for him. There's Saiyan Saga doesn't have a good Goku. Exploding Rage doesn't have a good Goku. I feel like, well, no, Exploding Rage has God Goku. Never mind, I'm a liar. Haha. Like some of these teams, it's like kind of weird to set them up for. and he wants a Goku on rotation with him. And then besides that, defensively, he's basically just like always able to get one shot, unless you get that one time damage reduction, which is stupid that it's only one time. I don't know. It's just like he seems very basic because outside of the turn you're under 58% HP, he's just stats. He's literally just a stats character. And stats characters that aren't providing anything to the team, are having some special like defensive mechanic or anything like that, especially as a free-to-play character, it's like, what is the purpose? Why would I choose to run him on the team? You know, when he's not doing anything that makes me want to run him, especially as like a offensively, those characters are gonna like the offensive part, those are gonna be left to summonable characters.
Yeah.
So what is this guy doing? He's not defending well, he's not supporting, his reduction, again, like I said, is only that one turn. He's not like he could do something else, but they were really strict them and they're like, he gets attack and defense, and then attack and defense when he supers. And that's most of the time all he's doing. So
Yeah, so you had a very interesting take, or it's like an interesting thought comparison before we started recording. I don't know if you remember what that was, comparing him to another Gohan.
Oh yeah. So I was saying, like, honestly, you could probably argue the. I saw someone say it, so it wasn't my idea, but
Okay.
you could say the like. Is it bad to say the Super Battle Road EZA Gohan is better than this guy? Because like
That's crazy.
with the Goku on
physical
rotation,
one,
That's crazy.
he has the 58% reduction, right? That's always up. It doesn't hit as hard, but like that's like a consistent thing you could plan for. While this Gohan is very like inconsistent, and I don't know. It just like this
Yeah,
guy
like,
probably ends up being like a little better, but I don't know. Probably even
yeah,
not.
that I remember that physical Super Battle Road Gohan actually being a goat for like multiple extreme Super Battle Road, like no item runs, because he can stun on I think his 12 key super, and then if you have a Goku on rotation, he has damage reduction, so like he's actually really useful for quite a few things. I'm not sure how good he is now. Maybe that'll be an interesting video to do. Maybe we'll
there you go. That's a video right there.
I'll take Gohan into one of these red zone stages against the bosses.
Is Gohan better than Gohan?
You know what? I'm gonna put that video out today. I'm gonna
damn. He's gonna beat me to it, chat.
Do either of you know
my idea?
What's this guy's leader skill? This guy.
This guy, he's 4 key 150% to exploding rage.
Okay, because I was gonna say low key. Well, okay, so then that's not that crazy. But I was gonna say, I mean, Gohan's leader skill to just give him even more, like notches on his belt, so to speak. He obviously has the whole like rainbow boost shenanigans going on, does he not? Isn't his leader skill all types, right?
Super Battle Road is all types 120 and 3 key.
So he definitely has that going for him, I feel like, too.
That SBR kid Gohan, I'm just gonna take him under no, he's not like under Hybrid Saiyans, like under God Goku's leader skill, and then we're gonna have fun, and then we're gonna
have fun.
Yep. Or 23
we're gonna have fun. This is where the
Bro
fun
said
begins.
We about to cook.
Oh, was your idea, Annie? Someone said it. I'm gonna do it today. Yeah, we'll cook. I'll cook.
All right, well there you go. So Prime
Expect
Battle
a new video from Minato's Flash.
All right, maybe I'll do it anyway. We'll see. But it's
you can do it anyways.
It just feels I don't know. Take it. Claim it's yours.
Yeah, just do it. I don't care. You should do it.
Damn you, Minato might actually be true. So yeah, who knows? Maybe he is. Maybe he will still be good. I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's obviously the number is much bigger, but it's one of the reasons why Golden Frieza, AGL-TUR Golden Frieza stayed relevant for so long, because like on a 200% team or whatever, his actual defense stat, like his defense is terrible, but he has 90% damage reduction. So if this Gohan can even get up to like semi-reasonable level of defense with like a 200% leader and maybe a support unit, 58% damage reduction is a pretty good amount. Like you're not going to be taking him up against like type neutral or type disadvantage bosses, but I'd be interested to see how much he takes from infusions of Masu's AoE. So
look, all you got to do 23 World Tournament Goku's team, put Bulma on there, put the Gohan and Piccolo on there, instantly revive with them, get Goku's full passive, and you cook.
There you go. Cook. So yeah, stay tuned for the most random re-showcase you never thought you'd see. The physical Super Battle Road Gohan. So yeah, looking forward to it. So that comes out in a few days, and then that takes us to essentially the same point that we're at. We were talking about a little bit earlier with where we are on global. So what are you guys expecting or predicting, or completely pie in the sky curiosity? What will JP be getting between now and Heroes? Because I can try and bring up the timeline here, but as we already said, like Global got like a filler LR banner. Obviously, they're not going to get, neither Celebration has like a part 2 LR. Well, obviously Global, there's still the Omega thing up in the air, but yeah, it's unlikely that JP is going to have a part 2 LR. So what, if anything, would you guys be expecting to see on JP in the next week or so? Because remember, we are still, as of now, we are 11 days away from Heroes. So
the countdown can't come any sooner.
Like nothing.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, it could definitely be like, I don't know, a new LR, like a yellow coin LR or something like that. That's just kind of something just to have a little bit of in between. But I don't think it'll be anything, honestly. I think it'll honestly just be like, maybe they'll release like 1 or 2 events or something. But I feel like it's weird because it's like, it's one of those things where the period of time is like too short, but it's like too short but also too long, kind of, you know what I mean, where it's like that weird in between where it's not like enough time for them to drop a new Dokkan Fest, but it's also not enough time for them to, like, obviously not release anything at the same time, you know what I mean? So
I think I'm gonna say for sure there's not gonna be a new banner.
Yeah,
so right before Heroes.
Yeah, I just looked up the Celebration info from last year, and not only is there barely anything in the info, looking at the actual timeline on the wiki, so from literally the beginning of November, all that happened on JP was the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock EZA, because obviously it was during the Bardock celebration at the time. So Super Saiyan 3 Bardock EZA with the Super Saiyan 1 and 2 Bardock sub EZAs, a chain battle, a new stage of Super Battle Road, and a burst mode. And that's it from the 4th of November until the 22nd of November when Heroes came out. So basically just over 2 weeks of basically nothing.
Do you forget that November celebration is the worst celebration of the year?
So yeah,
did you forget, buddy? Because
I kind of do forget, because I'm so like, oh yeah, November is Heroes, but like, that really isn't like until the end of November, right? Yeah. Like, that's not really all of November. So the beginning of November is usually just some stinky nonsense.
So yeah, but it could be a quiet week or so for JP. I mean, if it's anything like last time, then yeah, it's literally going to be maybe a chain battle, maybe a burst mode, maybe another ESBR stage, and that's basically it for the next like 10 days or so. So a little bit disappointing, but it's the calm before the storm. The peak is coming. It's
peak is coming. That's right.
It's gonna be Heroes. So,
I will tell you on that quick note, I am absolutely terrified that New Year's is gonna be like some hype correct thing, and I'm gonna be like, man, I got nothing after Heroes. I'm drained.
I need like UI Goku versus Jiren for New Year's or something. Or like Demon King Piccolo versus Kid Goku. For me, that would be hype. Or like God Goku, or no, Blue Cow King Goku versus Hit would also be really sick. Like, I need Heroes to be huge. Not Heroes. Well, I need Heroes to be huge, but I need New Year's to be huge.
Yes, sir.
Like big boy. I'm tired of these like 300 views support memory showcases. I'm done with it. I am done with it. I need 20k views. Blue Falcon Goku.
The peak hype.
20k views. Blue Falcon. Yeah, I don't know. Like because the whole reason why I'm so not like, I don't think worried is the right word, but like the wary maybe is the correct word to use here of like New Year's is that obviously last year New Year's was Orange Piccolo and Gohan least, and I'm not saying that as much so like for the fact that like yeah obviously they released because it was a special occasion because of the movie. I'm not gonna go on my rant about how late those units were, but I'll keep that for another day. However, with Orange Piccolo's strength, right? I think that's really the thing that is so like crazy, right? Is that obviously he was and potentially still is, but obviously is definitely one of the best units in the game, if not still the best unit in the game. So right, obviously there's an argument to be made, but he's still very, very, very strong. So I almost wonder if they're gonna, implement another unit like that this year, or if that was just like, he just happened to be that guy for that year and that was it. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see.
I think they didn't understand. I think they don't understand. At least at the time when it came out, like how the giant form actually worked.
Yeah, because the thing is, I remember like obviously we won't spend ages talking about this, but like obviously people have said, oh no, it's not a glitch. Like they know it works like that, but like I don't remember anyone ever talking about it in the community like before Piccolo. But I guess maybe it's because people didn't really use giant form characters that much, and so maybe no one noticed or something. But like, yeah, like it's actually crazy to think that he is going to be a year old in like around 2 months time. And you can still argue that he's the best unit in the game like now, which is actually insane. I mean, I recently did my updated tier lists. Obviously mine's only for global, for LRs, and I put him back at number 1 just because after having tried out all the units that we currently have, Bulma, all the worldwide units, mainly taking into account like how crazy the new content is. And like Piccolo is still just him. Like he's just so good. So yeah, he's almost a year old and still is arguably the best unit in the game, which is
crazy.
Actually crazy. So
I think I always had him like not always. I remember anniversary came around. Like 8th anniversary, like is Orange I feel like Orange Piccolo's so better. And I was like, nah. And then now I'm like, no.
I know he is.
I still have Bulma. I think I still have Bulma than Future Gohan than Piccolo. But I think like you can put Piccolo up there, right?
I have Bulma at 2. I think so. The way I looked at it before, and obviously, I mean, we guys can give some quick feedback. Like I say, we won't spend ages talking about this, but just in terms of a quick aside, why not? You guys can let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments if you're watching it on demand. In terms of the top 3. I used to be very much in the mindset that as long as you had Piccolo, Bulma, and Future Gohan, you could kind of have them in any order, and I probably wouldn't argue that much. But I feel like after using them more, as great as Future Gohan is, I feel like he is definitely 3, and then it's Bulma or Piccolo is 1 or 2, and then I don't mind if you swapped those around, but I feel like both of them are better than Future Gohan more consistently. Future Gohan obviously can still have his moments where he just goes absolutely crazy, but
I see your point.
Yeah, I feel like he's number 3, and then Piccolo or Bulma are number 1.
Interesting.
But
I think the domain is too strong, but also you don't have Omega, right? This is your perspective as a global player.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
Hey, bro, really?
I mean, it's true.
No, I know what he means. I know what he means because that's the thing. Like, I would get mad, but like, I know he's not like being a dick about it, but secondly,
not, like
when I make my tier lists and stuff, when I make my lists and stuff, I specifically say like this is on global. Like, I don't rank units that I don't have. And obviously, I can't take into consideration events that we don't have. So if Omega comes out, that's one of the reasons why for me Piccolo went back to number 1, because he's so consistently good in the worldwide content. So then when we do get Omega on global, then obviously I could see like the list moving around again. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it is true. Like, we know a bit about the events, and like I've seen videos of you guys doing them on JP, but until you get your hands on the stuff yourself and get to sort of play around with it, I think that's when you really sort of like form these ideas. Because I mean, I always say it on my tier list anyway, like for me, like top 10, I don't like keep a spreadsheet and then every couple of days I like move them up and down and stuff. Like, I'll come to make a list and it's like, right, if I had to make this list right now, where do I think these guys are based on how I've been playing the game over the last like few weeks. And sometimes they change, sometimes they move around a bit. But yeah, I do try and only take into account stuff that I've done hands-on. So what would you say then from like the Omega thing? What's like the biggest difference that makes to that sort of top end of the like top 3, for example?
The domain effect for Future Gohan.
Okay.
It's so impactful, like, because it's like the fight lasts so much longer. I feel like in these fights, you don't feel the domain effect's ability impact it as much as you would in Omega, which is like 7 to 10 turns. These fights are like 5 turns. Like usually at the end of these fights, you get the domain and it's like the fight's basically already over. But then against Omega, it's like in the STR phase, you get the domain, and then that's last for the rest of the fight, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's you see a huge increase in the damage that's done. I guess the only issue is that technically Future Gohan would lose some of his damage reduction, but they could always put him in slot 2 from then and have some other summon units like in Future Gohan, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I see the argument about Orange Piccolo. Like you could say Orange Piccolo really good still in Omega because he cancels the triple AoE at the end with his giant form, and that's super huge too, right? So I think even still with Omega, you could argue OP above Future Gohan, but I think we're kind of straying off topic, so we probably should.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it'd be a fun little aside there, but yeah, we don't want to talk about it for too long. Obviously, when Global gets Omega, which will be when LR Omega comes out, so whenever that is, obviously we can revisit the topic and talk about that event in more detail. So that brings us to the final segment before the shout-outs, obviously, which we know you guys love. It's always a fun section. And boy, do we have a juicy one for you guys this week. We had to pick this one. I had a quick look through the thread, but I'd already seen this one, and I feel like this one had to get picked because I've seen a couple of people making the take, or at least talking about it. And one thing that we always say, like trash takes, it doesn't necessarily have to be your take. Like we've been shared tweets from someone of someone else and stuff like that. Obviously, we try and reach out to anyone involved to get any extra comments or clarification. So without further ado, we are going to bring up this week's trash take, and here it is. Boy. So this one, it was tweeted to us from Tamim, I believe it would be pronounced. Apologies if not. Now, he did clarify, and I have some comments further on from this just to go over some of the details, but he did clarify that this isn't his take, but is a take that he has seen.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Hey, yo. Make. Hey, there you go. So it's a chat that he has, is a take that he has seen people make, whether it be via tier lists or just discussions back and forth. And so obviously, as you can see, the take is physical Ultimate Gohan is better than every worldwide download celebration 2003 LR except for Future Gohan. So that means physical LR Ultimate Gohan is better than AGL Vegeta Blue, Tech Fusion Zamasu, and physical Sword of Hope Trunks. And so the comments here, so again, to come to our boy's defense here, he says, I myself do not buy into it. But from what I've seen, Gohan has access to very broken teams and hits much harder most of the time in current content than Zamasu, which I already don't think is actually true, but I guess it depends how many additionals he gets, whose team still needs help. Due to the current content, which is rather short, Gohan holds up really well, where he does not take very much damage in the beginning, obviously because he has guard for the first 2 turns. Oftentimes can then get into the later phase with his guard still up, and absolutely shred with the damage. With his guard up, he has much higher defense and can get over 1 million. He can still reach over 1 million while having the nullification in his back pocket with the active skill. So able to be better than the Blues, both early and at the end of the fight in short fights. And then Gohan can take a bit less damage and do a bit more damage than Sword of Hope Trunks, oftentimes due to it being possible the fight ends before you go into standby and get Trunks' finisher and all of that. These are the ones that I've seen and can recall off the top of my head. So again, not his. I can almost guess. I don't want this section because, you know, Ultimate Gohan automatically brings to mind one particular person in the community, and I don't want this segment to turn into everybody bash you know who. But this definitely feels like a take that he would make. So as the main host and the person that has read it out, I'll go ahead and make the poll here in the chat and mute myself. But whichever one of you two wants to go first, I'll let you decide amongst yourselves. And you can take us away.
I mean, I don't really have much to say. I mean, I don't know if you do, so I'll just take a swing real quick. First of all, no. I think this is pretty clearly a no. I mean, the fact that most people agree that, you know, all of the worldwide units are higher than this guy on basically any list that I've seen is, you know, should be telling. But I think this is pretty obviously an L taken, not to mention, of course, I always meme on this guy, but he is also Gohan Least. He ain't Gohan Beast, and Vegito Blue. You can actually play as Vegito Blue, so that's my 2 cents. Minato, go for it. Oh, he's munching. Sorry, hold on. Give him a second. He's having the munchies right now.
Bro was like, oh, they can't see my webcam now. I'm gonna start eating.
Oh wait, no, they can't see it. I forgot they can. I thought people were looking at me eating, and like, sorry, my disinterest. Damn it, that sucks. Okay,
whoopsie.
No.
Based, quite frankly.
I have nothing else to say.
Damn.
No,
bro forgot we're trying to put on a show here and not have a 30-second segment.
Fine, I'll explain it. Fusion's a monster is better. Vegito Blue is way better. Also, it's Fusion's a monster, honestly. Sword Up Trunks, yeah, he's better for sure. You know, I think Gohan, like, this is like, I don't even want to talk about Ultimate Gohan anymore. Like, I think he's better than people give him credit for. A lot of the community probably thinks he sucks when he's actually pretty good. But I think a big reason that people are making this take is because of Gohan and Piccolo providing that mega support. And it's like, Bottom Match and Disciple is really good. Them providing that mega support is really good. But I don't think, because of that support specifically, Ultimate Gohan should be way better than what you originally, thought he should be or where he should be. And I just feel like there's a lot of inconsistency still with him. He has key inconsistencies still. And then after you get past that, you have to make sure he gets the additional super attacks where he has to specifically super attack. And then he pretty much wants a specific setup too, sometimes with superheroes. And I just feel like the inconsistencies he had when he released, they're like a little better because there's like, there's, how do I explain it? There's like different orb changes and stuff like that exist now, sure, but I feel like to say that he's better than the worldwide units, who I think had just way less inconsistencies and issues and just outright perform better a lot of the times, I would disagree with. So that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, right? I think it's one of those things, and I agree with what you said. And like, I was thinking about beforehand what my points were going to be for this, because like I said, I don't want the segment to be overly negative. I think that LR Ultimate Gohan is a really good unit. I think people absolutely underestimated him when he first came out. The issues that he has that people complained about when he came out, I think were definitely very relevant, but like, he could still perform really well when he came out. And obviously, as other units have come out around him, and especially now with this new content from the Worldwide Celebration being very short, very difficult, so units that obviously, have guard early on and can get up to some pretty big numbers, obviously do very well. As we've already mentioned, like, when we were talking about Beerus and when we've talked about tech units being bad, obviously he's physical, so a lot of these big bosses are in, and he benefits from that as well. Like, I feel like it's more of a case of the new content has allowed people to realize how good he actually can be in those good situations. But without going way too far into like rant territory, I feel like he has got to be the unit and it's funny that it's a Gohan again after all the Tech Gohan memes, but
Yep.
he has got to be the unit that has encouraged the most irritating discourse in the entire community.
That's true.
We were just
That's
talking
true.
about how Piccolo's like almost a year old and is the best unit. This Gohan is almost a year old, and still I cannot go a single day without going on Twitter and seeing people arguing about whether he is good or bad. And for the most part, the people that, again, so we're not going to name any names, we're being nice and impartial. The people who glaze this man into oblivion think that he's better than he actually is. And then most of the people that I see arguing about him probably do still underrate him a little bit. And unfortunately, the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? Because the truth, yeah. I really like this guy, but like even when I am trying to defend this man, like I take him into events on videos, I give him a good team, I get him 20 key, and then he does a super and 2 additional normals. And what am I supposed to do about that? Like, you know, there's nothing I could do about it. And you can show me your spider graph that you've drawn that shows me that he gets a 70% chance to do 2 supers. Like on average, he's always going to do 2 supers more than he's not going to do 2 supers. And it's like, yeah, well, tell that to my runs where he does a super and then a normal 3 turns in a row. Like it's, you know, it's RNG at the end of the day. And I think what's funny when people compare him to units, especially like say the Blues, is I feel like he's another one of those units where the people who aggressively defend him, they put up his ideal scenario versus like the hypothetical not ideal scenario for other units.
Gotcha.
So people will say like, oh, you know, well, when Gohan double or triple supers every turn, he looks like an absolute beast, and yet like sometimes you won't ever see Vegeta Blue. And it's like, well, if we're going to compare the Gohan that's getting his additional super every turn, then you have to compare him to the Blues who are going to fuse into Vegeta on turn 5, right? You have to put best case scenario versus best case scenario, right? And yeah, I mean, like one of the things I was saying from reading that thread of some of the arguments that have come from Twitter, the idea that Gohan most of the time hits harder than Zamasu. I mean, if he gets the multiple additions of supers in one turn, maybe, but like, I've got Zamasu at 79%, and I regularly see turns of him hitting like 20 million attack, which, I mean, you never see Gohan get that high from one super. Now, obviously, he is more likely to get additional supers than Zamasu is. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, he's still very good, but this take I thought was absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, again, just to summarize, I think he is better still than people will give him credit for. But like, you know, like I said, we were talking about it just now with the other topic. I did my recent top 10 LRs on Global, and he's not in it. So, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, this sounds like a take where it's someone who's like, Blue Goku and Vegeta suck. Because there's that whole thought process that the Blue Goku and Vegeta specifically, like, they suck. And I'm like, no. You know, it sounds like someone who would think that would say like Ultimate Gohan's better, because I think that unit also like in their base form is underrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the only one that I could get close to is the physical Trunks, but I feel like he's a unit that's in the same sort of boat as Gohan, where I feel like he is. A lot of people do underrate him because obviously he can be very good. But the two of them are very different units. Like Gohan early on, because of his guard, you can put him in slot 1. And then Trunks, you obviously don't do that. You put him in slot 2 because he gets the extra attack, he builds up damage reduction. And then when he gets his standby, you put him in slot 1. Whereas Gohan obviously eventually loses his guard, and then you kind of don't want him in slot 1. So they're two very different units. And I think they both are in that same sort of territory where their peaks are quite high and they can be very good. And I feel like in general, they get underrated a little bit. But I mean, I think if I had to decide, like gun to my head, like right now, I would say I probably think Trunks is slightly better, but I guess it depends.
Trunks is easily better.
Like Trunks doesn't have the key issues, which is a big thing. Like again, like people who defend Gohan will always say like, oh, he doesn't have key issues. You just have to build the team in like this specific way. And it's like, Yeah, true. But like with other units, I don't have to build the team completely around them, and they still get 24 key every turn, right? So, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting one.
I think Trunks is probably easily better.
Yeah,
in my experience, he just has better link stat. He has better teams. I think. On top of that, I feel like, how do I explain it? He just feels a lot more smoother to use than Ultimate Gohan.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. Someone said it in chat, right? One of the big differences is
really good.
Trunks is a unit because of the links he has and the way he works by being in like slot 2 or 3 as his kind of ideal position on the turn until you use the standby. He's one of those units that, funnily enough, I was talking about this like with God Goku the other day, is I could build a team that is largely like Super Saiyans or Future Saga or whatever. And if I've put 5 units on the team, then I could just go, I'll put Sword of Hope Trunks in there. He can be number 6. Whereas you can't really build a team of 5 units that work really well together and then go, I'll throw Ultimate Gohan on there as the 6th unit. Because then you end up on a rotation where it's like, he can't get 20 key on this turn. So, yeah, Oopsie. I mean, he's good when he's good. You know, you can build teams where he's awesome. You can build teams where he doesn't struggle like at all. But you know, there are other units where you don't need to do that and they're performing as well or better than he is, right? So, overall, I would say L take. I think we're all pretty much in unanimous agreement. Shout out to our boy Tamim. Just to remind everyone, you know, if you just came into the chat and you're seeing the screen, this take was provided to us by Tamim, but it's not his take and he does not agree with it himself. I think someone said he was in the chat, so I'm assuming he voted L as well. In fact, as we get to the end of the poll here, I think we had one that was close and then it started to change because I think we kind of, Minato had a pretty good interpretation of it and we discussed it a bit more. And public opinion started to waver a little bit. But I think this one might be the most one-sided one that we've had so far. Which is 82% of the chat said L take. So shout out to all you guys in the chat. If you are listening to this on the Spotify or watching it on demand, obviously if you can make it out to the live episodes, you can take part in the segment and join in on the poll. But if you have come to it afterwards, let us know in the comments what you guys think. But definitely an interesting one. You know, the segment's called Trash Takes. They don't always have to necessarily be bad, but as we like to say, when we get a particularly trash take, our boy understood the assignment on this one. So
he did indeed understand the assignment.
So yeah, there you go. So I'll take us back to the main screen here for the very final segment, which will be to just read out all of the contributions and shout outs and stuff like that from the episode. So obviously a big thank you to everybody who did indeed contribute. I'm just making sure I added them all to a list here so that Streamlabs didn't make me miss any. So I'm just having one quick scroll back to make sure. Yeah, that was the last one. Okay, so we'll go through these here. So first of all, this one was quite early on because I think we mentioned it quite early on. So shout out to Chili for the $2 super chat. It says #Heroes Agenda.
Let's go, baby.
You love to see it, right? We'll get some more of those going. Then we have our boy Raudo-kun re-upping his channel membership. He says #Heroes Agenda. Minato,
yes,
when will we see you having the Heroes Agenda spirit, buddy? I need Heroes videos from you to do your part. So yeah, where's the Heroes spirit, Minato? What was it you were telling us at the beginning of the stream?
So
you make your first...
I did make a first #Heroes Agenda tweet today.
Let's go.
Showing my stone count. And I said on my stream earlier today, starting next week is when I'm going to do my hero videos. So Heroes videos will be coming out in that time frame. Because, yep.
Damn right.
So
Heroes all aboard.
Starting next week.
All aboard for the Heroes Agenda.
Yes, sir. Choo choo, baby.
Speculation videos, EZA concepts, etc. We're gonna have fun.
All right. So shout out to Aiden Raymond for updating his channel membership as well. He says, yeah, Beerus is dope. He's a top 3 EZA TUR, honestly. Better than Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. So I think that is what you said, Minato. So we're top 3. We're thinking top 3 is what? Like AGL, Zamasu, in future Gohan and Beerus in some order?
I think I would say so. I really want to say Physical Piccolo could be argued.
He is still very good, yeah.
Like
Permanent Scout
think,
was pretty
I think
damn
it's
good.
definitely, in my opinion, it's like Zamasu and Gohan. Then I think it's Beerus and Piccolo.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
But like you could switch Piccolo as 3 or Beerus as 3. I would probably say, honestly, Beerus might be 3, but Piccolo's really good with the Scouter. I think people act like Piccolo's weaker in these fights than he actually is. In these newer fights, and then obviously in like Omega as well. I think in Omega, he's way better than Beerus. It's not even probably close. Like Physical Piccolo is way better against Omega, so it's like kind of weird. But I think they're more like around even the same level. Yep. Maybe an edge to Beerus, probably though.
Okay. I see. I can see it. All right, so shout out to Philip Rodriguez for the $5 super chat. He says, he says, #Heroes Agenda, Minato, get with the program, time is running out. But there you go. We've already heard from our boy on that one. So Minato will be all aboard with the Heroes Agenda.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually excited for Heroes this year.
Hell yeah. So we're going to be some peak content. 11 days to go, baby.
I'm excited.
Shout out to Mega Nice for the 55 TRY. Every single week I forget what this currency is, so I appreciate you, our boy, consistently with the donos on each episode. I always forget what the currency is, but shout out to you. He says, actually, no, wait, this is why I forget, because he makes a comment. This guy, Mega Nice, he's a menace to the community. We've seen the memes that this guy makes. His name is Mega Nice. He contributes, but then he says things like, I can't think of a funny comment, so I'll just go with the good old reliable, you just lost the game. So thanks for that. So everybody,
no.
Lingen, I'm gonna need you to ban him real quick if you don't mind.
It took me 2 seconds, and I was like, no.
Yep. So there you go. There's our boy. He pretty much comes into my streams now and just says that immediately. So yeah, absolute menace to the community. But shout out to Mega Nice for the dono. Then we have a second. This Chili, our boy, is all on board. Chili with another super chat to say #Heroes Agenda. We love to see it. We have a follow-up one from Chili that says, if the 14th or the 15th, is it for global, is like a filler yellow coin banner, will it maybe have the pity system? The only thing I would say is if it's anything like the one from last year, there wasn't a new unit, was there? It was just 3 existing yellow coin LRs. So if that banner happens again, those units would obviously already be in the shop for yellow coins. So as far as I can tell, they wouldn't do that unless it's like a new unit, right? Because they've said it's only going to be legendary summon banners, but it's only for the new unit, right? So
right,
I couldn't see anything happening like that, unfortunately. I mean, I think that if it's anything like last year, it's a yellow coin banner with a couple of featured LRs. I think even at the time that banner came out last year, because it was post Red Zone, so like STR UI, Goku, Jiren, those units were already really kind of aged out of being relevant. So if it's anything like that, I mean, literally, unless the banner has Bulma featured on it, it's a guaranteed easy skip. And then even if it does, it's probably an easy skip for most people, to be honest.
I think Bulma. Oh, well, the good thing is that this banner should allow you to buy Bulma.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The only good thing would be that if it was a yellow coin banner with Bulma featured, she probably will then be added to the coin shop. Even if she's not featured, she should hopefully by then be added. So yeah, if nothing else, even if she's not featured, maybe she will be added to the coin shop. So that would be pretty cool. But yeah, so no pretty system. I think that's only going to be for new release yellow coin banners, which I don't see them bringing out a new unit. And if they did, for global anyway, it would probably just be Omega, right? So, but shout out to Chili.
Omega's not even yellow coin.
True. Yeah, he's Carnival, isn't he? Well, I meant like a new banner, a new unit in general. But if they were going to bring out a new unit between now and Heroes, it'd probably be Omega. So shout out to Sam the Bagman for the $5 super chat. He says, LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku still does not have an EZA. It's outrageous. I'm still pissed it hasn't happened. As the second biggest Super Saiyan 3 enjoyer behind Raiden, this is an injustice. Wait, hang on. Surely this should say as the third biggest Super Saiyan 3 enjoyer behind Ryuden and Ningen. This is an injustice, but I guess
actually it would be fourth because I'm
also
a Super Saiyan 3 enjoyer.
No, it would be be fair, because I'm a
But no, shout out to the Super Saiyan 3 love. Super Saiyan 3 is actually, I think, my favorite form. I mean, maybe Super Saiyan 3 Rose kind of takes over now, but Super Saiyan 3 is one of my favorite forms. So, spoiler, well, what a big surprise. I'm a big fan of long hair character designs. But yeah, Super Saiyan 3 is peak. But yes, absolutely agree 110%. It is an absolute injustice. Our boy LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku does not have his EZA yet. Is he now the oldest? Because the oldest Dokkan Fest TURs have now EZA. So is he literally the oldest unit that doesn't have an EZA in terms of like...
He's been the oldest for a long time.
Yeah. I think the only unit is like Xeno Trunks or something.
I was going to say,
like,
there's probably some like random general pool units. But
like,
no.
There's, if we're talking about just like in general, then there's the Baby Saga units, I think. There's the Xeno Trunks.
Interlas, yeah. But in terms of an LR, in terms of like LRs or Dokkan Fests, then yeah, he just straight up is the oldest.
He's straight up the oldest, and it has been for a long time.
Crazy.
I Dokkan Fest Tapion, like, it's definitely, I could see a thing that could happen.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we need, there's got to be something. It's either going to be something Tapion related, maybe some kind of general movies related, or something Super Saiyan 3 related. Like, as soon as we get something like that, it has to be there, right? Like,
it could be like Dokkan Fest Tapion into Carnival or Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah.
For December.
I think that would be likely, for sure.
I think I could easily see that, right?
Yeah, that could be could definitely be interesting. But yeah, he was my favorite like summonable LR. He was the first summonable LR I ever rainbowed. Like, I was so hyped when he came out.
Yeah.
I got him off a single summon. It wasn't off his banner. You know, like, I don't know if Global ever got these, like the rival banners, like before the anniversary. They used to come out.
I think
there's
maybe.
Well, like, it was just all Goku and Vegetas.
Yeah, I think it happened once or twice. I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was before the 3rd anniversary.
Yeah,
and I got him off a single summon off that banner at like 5 a.m. Getting ready for school.
5 a.m.
Yeah, because in America, you know, we have school like at 6, 7 a.m. So. It's about 5.
True.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, hopefully one day soon our boy gets his EZA, and hopefully they do it justice. But we shall see.
I hope so.
Shout out to Philip Rodriguez for gifting 5 channel memberships. I appreciate you, my dude. And then last but not least, we have a $5 super chat from Daniel Rodriguez. Says, can't wait for Link level 10 Super Saiyan 3 Rose SA level 5 showcase from Minato. # get your Kais up. Wait, so was it a screenshot? Wasn't it you posted about your distinct lack of Kais or something, right?
Look. Right now, I have 4 Grand Kais of AGO and then 43 Elder Kais.
What are you doing?
I just use Kaizen a lot.
Wait, so what are you actually going to do? Because the heroes characters, it's like 7 new units that all have unique names.
Listen. What's going to happen? There's going to be a new Kai banner that comes out in like a few days. So
I knew you were going to say that.
There's Chain Battle rewards that come out in like, let's say 5 days. I get another 10 Kais in there. Prime Battle Kid Gohan's campaign.
Oh, yeah, true. You get like 10 from that.
Now there's... Well, yeah, we're gonna get another 7 because we already got the 3 right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
When I actually summon on the heroes banner, I'm getting blue coins.
So true. You can use get Kais. Yep.
Yeah. So I should have enough Kais. I should have.
Gonna be cutting it close.
Yeah, for real.
It will be cutting it. Oh, I also do have. Let me take a look here. Let me show y'all. I do have Kais I can get from the Super Battle Road shop, right?
Okay.
I was gonna use it for the box space. I might just use it for the Kais because I can get 16 Kais here.
Oh yeah,
and then I can get a lot of the different type Kais. I can get
I've been saving what's the one from Extreme Super Battle Road? I've been saving those because I got caught out before where there was nothing available to buy with them. So I just bought Kais, and then they added like 10 extra like stamina upgrades, and it's like, oh, if I'd kept all of those things, I could have just bought them straight away. So I had to then wait until the next bunch of stages came out. So I'm keeping a couple of those, but the normal Super Battle Road ones, you don't really get anything too good outside of Type Kais. So I've just been picking those up because obviously Global got a new stage today.
I mean, I'm assuming I haven't gone to stamina. I can get 10 stamina from the Switch. If I don't need the Kais, then I'll definitely grab those.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the stamina. I think I managed to finally catch back up by getting those from that ESBR shop. I have the maximum stamina that you can actually have in the game.
Oh, really?
At the moment. Yeah.
Wait, what is that? What is it?
I was going to say, I was hoping this stage would end quickly. I'm over farming Beerus's EZA, so I've just done stage.
I have 376 before the extra 10 stamina I can get. So I can get up to 386.
Yeah, I just beat stage 155 of Beerus's EZA.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have 376, but there are no other ones available to buy. So I wonder if JP has gotten more then since Global got the last update.
Might have.
See, saving that currency for a reason then. But I know the reason. Wait, did they change it? I've actually forgotten now. Because, before they added more Supreme Kai Stone missions, I hadn't bought all the stamina from them. But then they added those once they did the quest update again, didn't they? So I'm pretty sure. I think I have all the stamina upgrades that you can actually get. Now I'm concerned that I've missed some.
I don't know, because I never got any of the Supreme Kai ones.
No. I never got... There's no Battlefield shop ones.
Wow, I can get 12 exchanges for that.
Maybe I have
those flabbergasted.
No. I must have did get it because that's box space that I can get. Oh my! I can get so much box space from here.
Bought stamina from the Stone sales page. Wait, you can't do that, can you? What? You can't buy. You can buy box space.
I meant like.
No, you can't.
No, sorry. I was reading the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am definitely ready to go for heroes. I don't know about you as well, Dokkan Assets, but today, by doing that Super Battle Road stage, I deliberately picked the Int type Kais because it was the only one I had under 100. So all 5 of the type Kais now, I have 100 or more. And I have 1,116 Elder Kais.
The stupid anniversary.
The anniversary friend banner, baby.
The anniversary friend banner. Certified global moment.
You know what? My Super Saiyan 3, my Super Saiyan 4 Broly is also SC1, and so is my Demigra, and so is my Super Mirror. And then I don't have.
Dude, I'm hoping they get their EZAs. I've got a Toa Mirror and Demigra spare SA5 copies. I'm like ready to go. So.
Oh my! Look at you, Will.
Well, funnily enough, because it's a mission to buy something from the shop, like with treasure for the celebration, I don't need any of the units that they gave out those tickets for. So I literally just bought 2 copies of Demigra so that my spare copy would be SA5 instead of SA3. Because what else am I going to get with him? Like,
to be fair. I usually never summon on the Kai banners.
No, I don't ever anymore.
I don't either.
I need to start doing that now. Actually, I think because
that's crazy.
Kais. Like, what if the next Dokkan Fest is like, freaking, I don't know, someone character you can't be farmed.
I know, right? There's been a few lately, hasn't there? Because obviously you got 17 and 18. You got Gohan and Piccolo, so you got units that don't have farmable super attacks. But yeah, so that was the last super chat. Shout out to Daniel Rodriguez. Shout out to Minato. # get your Kais up. So could you? Oh man, that would just be brutal. If you imagine getting all the new heroes units and you actually can't get one of them to SA10. That'd be horrendous.
That would be unfortunate.
I would just pick the one that sucks because there's at least one of them will suck.
Well, let's hope not. But
I don't.
Yeah, let's hope not.
I bet like AGL Demon God Deborah is gonna be garbage, and I say 15 Kais because I never use them.
Oh yeah, true. Because I was gonna say mine's SA10. That's actually another thing I forgot. Right, all the EZA units are gonna need 5 Kais.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, anyway, so that was it for the shout outs, all the contributions, super chats, and questions. We appreciate all of you guys who did contribute, directly helping to support the podcast. So we all appreciate that very much. So yeah, that is going to be it for this week's episode. So this has been episode 11 of the Slot 1 Super Podcast. At least Discord started behaving itself for the later, later half of the episode or so. So as always, the episodes will now stay up on the channel. So if you missed any part of the episode, the VOD will just be available straight away from the end of the episode. And the Spotify version will be up tomorrow, basically 24 hours from the time the episode starts live, which is 8 p.m. UK, which I believe is midnight PST, 3 a.m. EST now, after all the clocks have done changing. So yeah, make sure you check it out if you did miss any parts. If you can, make it out next week live. Take part in the show as it's happening. Take part in the polls for Trash Takes. Keep an eye out for the post every week that we make on the official Slot 1 Super Podcast Twitter account, where we take in those Trash Takes. And just make sure we got a good one this week. We had some interaction, which is what we like to see. If you do send us a take, do keep an eye out, because obviously if we do pick to cover it on the episode, we will contact you to try and get a little bit more information, because obviously sometimes you need a little bit more than what's in just one tweet to kind of explain where you're coming from, especially when it's something that's going to be picked apart by a bunch of people, right? So you want to try and make sure people know exactly what you meant. But yeah, we do appreciate taking all of those in. Obviously, it's always some light-hearted fun. Today's one definitely was a trash take. So there you go.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, from myself, the Master Ningen, my boys, Minato's Flash, Dokkan Assets, that's be all of it for this week. We will be back same time next week for episode 12, where we will be covering anything that did indeed come out on both versions. We'll get to know at that point what is filling the gap between now and Heroes. And last week will be the penultimate episode before Dragon Ball Heroes. So very exciting. Hopefully we will see you guys then. So yeah, that is it from us. Hopefully we will see you guys next time. Peace out.